just make it safer, I've just made a Munters hitch onto a carabiner screw gate, and it's on my harness. This isn't a way that you would want to abseil normally. It's just a sort of an emergency safety line.
Truly, this is a God-given, beautiful world. Exploring and adventure, kind of what I'm looking for. My name is Mike. Join me on my channel, Into the Art 365.
This is the entrance to Blinkwater Ravine, or Stinkwater as it was formerly known. The pipe track is really busy this morning, a lot of people on it. Fortunately, the route that we're taking up Blinkwater is quite a quiet path. It won't be that popular. It's not a well-known route, and that's due to landslides that took place here in the 80s, and they actually closed the path off because of the overgrowth and the fact that it's not heavily maintained at all. And that is why people actually don't know much about this path and actually don't come here. So one really has to pace yourself on this path. It's the incline is quite hectic and it's very overgrown, quite rough. But really stunning. You very quickly enter into forested areas and enjoy the shade. You kind of got to watch out for low hanging branches and spider webs and things like that. Not that the spiders bug me much, but yeah, if you've got a bit of a thing about insects and that, this is probably not the place for you. So we can just make out the cable station above there. If we come down lower, you can see the two landslide marks from this year. Big rock falls and mountain broke away. The mountain's definitely not a static sort of thing. It, as much as it's ageless in the sense that it's been here for thousands of years, it definitely shifts and changes and moves almost on the season. So this first bit of the hike is just scruffy, scratchy and hectic incline, so it's hard work. Hard work getting up to it, but the forest higher up is actually really beautiful with a lot of overhangs, and we should see a few waterfalls. They'll be dry now already. The kind of waterfalls in this area don't flow all year round, and whilst it was really raining quite hard a few weeks ago, we did come up here, and the one waterfall was really spectacular, but I doubt we'll see much flow today. This valley obviously can be very dangerous. Besides the rock slides, in the wet and in the rain specifically, there's a couple of really narrow little spots which are subject to a kind of like a little flash floods, and because it's so narrow you won't actually get through at all. Stop and smell the honey bush. Every time I see the honey bush, I just kind of imagine myself sticking my finger into a pot of honey and just, man, that would be good, wouldn't it? It's definitely not a frequented path at all. It has actually officially been closed off, so there is that. Well, it'll take you where not too many people go. Cape Nature on the top have placed a sign that they totally indemnify themselves against any use of this path. Kind of ill-advised. And you take your own risk coming up in here. We're just below the first cliff face to the right of the waterfall that we saw earlier on. And this is one of the possible rest stops water stop place where people enjoy having a quick break. You climb up to here, it's quite gnarly, but this is really beautiful. And here, as you can see, really stunning. We started out early enough, so it's still cool. The mountain hasn't received its daily dose of sunlight yet. And so this forest is actually quite cool at the moment. And you can hear the birds waking up and chirping. So probably 100-150 meters from the first set of ledges is this overhang here, and this is the one that I was aiming for. It's really beautiful. So I'll show you quickly what the overhang looks like. It's such a nice spot. Absolutely love it. We're having a quick break here. This moss has probably been here for thousands of years, and the water flows here all the way around. Nature's filtration system is still the best, and the mountain water is so sweet and drinkable. So there's a lot of places on the mountain that are like this. It's filtered through a lot of limestone, a lot of sandstone and sand, and then gets filtered by this moss and this algae. So by the time it gets to here, man, it is good. Refreshing. Oh my hat, that is good. So this was just a shout out to those guys, Stan, for all your help with the branding and with the sponsorship, and then to Schalk and the friends as well. Thank you guys so much. It's a real privilege to be such a small YouTube channel and already have people that are invested in the future of it. So thank you, and I hope to continue making good content, and I hope it gets better and that you guys enjoy the adventures. From here we kind of slowly move across the ravine to the first waterfall, just above the first waterfall. We actually come out on literally on the lip. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Not much further to that point, and then the really stiff climbing begins, as if this wasn't bad enough. So I've just seen Joshua Penny's cave across the ravine. Now it's pretty hair-raising to get to it, and I found a little side path below the waterfall, and I'm hoping to make it across at least part of the ravine and see if we can get up to the cave. Well, let's see where this goes to. I think this just goes below the waterfall. Oh, yep. Okay, that broke loose. That's why you really got to watch your step down here. Yeah. But they do say there's a rock climb to it. This is hair raising. Hard work getting out of it, that's for sure. I mean, the really forest down below here is actually going to be really stunning. That's it. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. One actually seldom comes to this part of the waterfall. Obviously, on our way up Blinkwater, nobody really wants to do the extra mileage down into the ravine, only to have to climb out again to get up top. But this is well worth it. Absolutely stunning. Normally we would stop and have a break at the top there. I mean, obviously the waterfall's not flowing that hectically now, being sort of tapering into the start of the dry season, but it's still really beautiful, So I'm just below Blinkwater Johnny's cave, and that is the cave that we saw up yonder, but they say the access is really difficult. So we're going to have a look. There is a cairn up here, and see if we can find it, because that would really be something spectacular. We are below the waterfall. They do say it is very slippery and quite hair-raising. Luckily we're at the end of the wet season, so there shouldn't be as much water around as there normally is, but if it's unsafe, I'll call it. I'm not going to risk it up stuff like this. I mean, that's really looking for trouble, but there must be a way up. All the writings say he really looked for an inaccessible place, so obviously people wouldn't easily get to him, and then would also give him early warning if anyone was coming to search for him. This is not a frequented path, so I doubt it'll be up here. That's the waterfall, the base of which we've just come from. And if we look over here, in that clearing and that gap there, that's where the path was, and that's where I was standing and actually looking across the valley at the cave. I'm just hacking my way through the bush and steadily climbing up, hoping to get to it. If it gets unsafe, I'll call it quits and kind of come back where I've been. I think it'll be worthwhile just for this bit of history. Sometimes even I think I'm nuts. This is hair raising. Okay, we're on the ledge. Yes! Came out right at the spot. Look at this. Oh my hat. This is just amazing. Man, this is a piece of history right here. Johnny Penny's cave. Joshua Penny's cave. This is Blinkwater Johnny's cave, not Joshua Penny. Now, there is a difference between those two people, and yet both of them are interesting characters and have interesting stories. Joshua Penny actually had a cave around the mountain a little bit further on towards Kloof Neck's side, and he was an interesting character. He was an American sailor who basically abandoned ship here in Table Bay, and the ship was HMS Scepter, and he came and lived up on the mountain in a cave for about 9 months. Whereupon he decided he's getting a bit lonely, it's a bit wild here. So this was the early 1900s, late 1800s, and so he went back into Cape Town and found a Danish ship sailing back towards his home. And it was then that he discovered that his previous ship, which he had abandoned, HMS Scepter, actually sank, losing the lives of all the crew that were on board. So quite an amazing story. However, this cave, the one that I'm standing in front of now, is not his cave. This is Johnny Blinkwater's cave. Johnny Blinkwater lived lower down for about 9 years, and he caused a lot of trouble, and then eventually tried to escape up higher into the valley, and he found an inaccessible place which is really, really difficult to get to, so that he could hide away. And then he would do periodic raids on the villages and people living down below, mostly for poultry. He loved poultry. And this was around the 1920s, and they actually found Johnny's Blinkwater's body in 1927. Nobody knows the cause of death. So the story goes that Johnny Blinkwater actually had quite a few pieces of furniture, and he had actually made this place quite comfortable for himself. So, but I mean, imagine waking up here every morning and just listening to the birds and having access to this whole valley to yourself, and nobody's going to come up here. This is so infrequently visited. I mean, I'm looking at signs here of, there's a couple of old bottles and a few old newspaper clippings here. I'll have a look at the date now and see if I can see a date on them. But yeah, this has been a long time since someone's been up here, and it's really, really difficult to get to. So originally it was called Stinkwater, which means stink water or smelly water. And the reason for that was originally when the people found the outlet of the Stinkwater Ravine, which is in Camps Bay, so the actual stream flows out into the Camps Bay, there was a lot of buildup of kelp, which causes quite a stench. In the early years, when first settlers came in here, they didn't know about that, and so they said, no, the water stank. And it's only later that they discovered that it was actually just the kelp that was busy rotting on the beachfront that was causing the smell. And it's then that they changed this ravine's name to Blinkwater, which in English means shiny water or bright water. I wanted to see how close I could get to the waterfall, the top of it anyway, or to the sort of mid level of the waterfall. But this is as far as I can go. I'm on a ledge here, so from here it's probably a 40-meter drop, vertical drop, so I don't want to be playing too much on this edge here. So if I look a bit crazy, that is because I am. No, I'm on my way down now, but I've got myself rigged so that I can put up a rope if I need it. Quick look at what it is that we need to descend down into, and that's into that valley way down there, and then we need to move our way across to the other side. I'm willing to scramble through all this underbrush, which is also nice because at least then the rope will have something to hang on to if I need to put it up as well. Yeah, that's it. At least here you've got stuff to grab onto. Might not be the most pleasant, but it's more grippy. Oh, I grabbed onto a thorn bush. The joys, eh? Oh. Alright, we're getting there. You can clearly see no one's been there for decades. I need to find newspaper in the caves from the still with British currency and the adverts. It is definitely the 1900s because it was advertising speakers and things like that. So, piece of newspaper. That's it. Happy with that. Oh! Dead wood. Yeah. I'm actually going to toss this down just so it doesn't overburden me. Oh. That's it. I'm so glad I found that spot. I mean, that is just such an amazing bit of history right there. So whilst I might be out here on my own and that, I do actually keep friends and family informed that what's going on. So this is me actually just letting Monty know at the moment that I'm back on the path. It's always good to have someone who knows where you are and how the day is progressing. And if it runs into trouble and they don't hear from you for a while, at least they can send out help or try and get hold of you. The ledge that we were on when we were at Johnny Blinkwater's cave, and we moved to the end of the ledge to actually see the waterfall, that runs over here. But I mean, have a look at this. It's just beautiful. Man, you could come here just for the walk here and stay here for the day and then head on back down the mountain. It's really worth it. Oh. At the top of the waterfall, as you can see, it's a long way down. But really spectacular, eh? It's so beautiful to be up here. Just loving it. And the peace and the quiet. You do hear a lot of city background noises, but yeah, this is great. Loving it. We're back in Blinkwater's riverbed, and it's all boulder hopping from here. It's a scree. Now, scree can complicate things just because you have to make sure of every step that you take. For instance, here we've got a boulder. It looks quite stable, and you'd put your foot on it and roll. Sure. Oh, can't believe it. Literally a week ago, I would have been doused there with water. So it just shows you this waterfall dries up relatively quickly when it stops raining. Delicious. Such a beautiful ravine, eh? Yeah. It's one thing, the Cape is known for its flowers, eh? Absolutely stunning. Feels like the scree is unending. It just doesn't want to stop. In the wet season, can be almost impassable. You have to kind of veer up to the right. So normally where I'm standing now, you'd be underwater. The water actually just comes pumping, barreling over the top here. It's kind of a whole different thing when you've got water sort of cascading over you. This is a narrow little passage through here, and this section can get very dangerous in the winter. You'll even see higher up, I'll show you now, but there's a whole lot of debris and stuff that's come through from the last little flash flood that kind of barreled through this little passageway. And here we go. So there you can see the debris up there. All those branches and stuff we're going to go past now. So this is the next really technical piece. It's probably about a 15 to 20 meter climb up there. And yeah, hands and feet, eh? And then once I'm done, I'll probably use the rope to come down and fetch the camera. So the up climb is not that hair raising. I've done it a few times. The only thing is that if you do make a mistake here, the momentum is going to carry you 10-15 meters at least. Make sure of your hands and foot placements. This is where it gets a bit hairy. It's really nice. This kind of crevice that I can put my foot into, and I could actually let go both hands and it would hold me up quite nicely. So to just make it safer, I've just made a Munters hitch onto a carabiner screw gate, and that's on my harness. This isn't a way that you would want to abseil normally. It's just a sort of an emergency safety line. And so you just slowly let out some line as you go along. It's got quite a lot of friction on it, the hitch. So as I say, you can actually abseil it quite easily. And if I hold it off, it'll actually lock me off totally. I've actually got to kind of feed it through quite a bit. A couple of sandwiches, a few snacks, something to drink. This is a beautiful rest stop, stunning view. So that was the lunch stop. Give you an idea some of the terrain and what it looks like walking through it. It's pretty gnarly and very steep. So you can join me, maybe pull me up the stairs. That would be helpful. I think we have made it to the top, to the saddle, which basically means we enter into Echo Valley. Let's just look for the sign. But yo, what a climb, eh? Man! Woohoo! Made it! That was brutal. So here's the warning sign. There's always a woohoo when I come up off the worst of the climbs. Also, it's one kind of there's like a mild dose of stress as well when you're trying to summit through pretty hair-raising ravine like that. As you noticed on the sign probably, is that that's a closed route. It's Cape Nature doesn't endorse it at all, and people still do it. It's sort of at own risk, but there have been quite a few incidents on there that have been quite hair-raising, and that's what actually initially closed the route down. So in 1982 there was a massive rock fall there, massive inside, and that's when they cut the chain and kind of said, listen, route closed. Subsequent to that, some experienced hikers went in there years later in the 2000s and also had an accident in there with rocks, roost locks. So yeah, one's got to be careful, you know. Quick view of Echo Valley, and there you can see the cloud and the mist rolling in. So we'll just see what it does. If the ceiling drops of the cloud base, then yeah, we'll have to call it quits. There's still sun to the west, so we'll see what it does. It's like a giant's playground out here. The area I'm looking at, and I would love to explore at some point in time, there's not enough time for it today though, is Falcon Labyrinth. And it's all erosion and sort of, you know, elements that have broken that down like that over the years. Here we start the descent into the Valley of the Red Gods. So there is a cave here, but it doesn't go very far back. And a couple of years ago there was a rock slide inside the cave and it actually sealed it off. So it used to go right through, but it's closed off inside now. So it's not anything worth chasing around, but there is a cave. Beautiful valley. It's just like this little bowl in the middle of nowhere. The bottom of Valley of the Red Gods is a little obscure pathway that almost descends into a hole, and there's a little cave there with a sort of a natural spring waterfall, and it tends to run all year round, so this is a really good spot to get water. Have a look at this. Absolutely beautiful. And then there is the cave. I don't think it goes that far. Oh man, this is refreshing. So when it's really hot, this is just so welcome after a day up on the mountain. Sweet as anything. Man, this is good. Quick look in this little cave. See how far it goes. We won't go for a massive caving exercise, but seeing as we're here in the Valley of the Red Gods, let's just see where this goes to. And I think it's just to the end of the way here. Brought a headlight along just to have a look, so let's do that. I suppose one could crawl through down the stream, but no, I don't feel like doing that, and that's going to be wet and freezing. There's a lot of vapor here. Oh, there's the entrance, and that's pretty much it. That's the cave. Doesn't go very far. Nice and big though. You can actually walk straight upright in it. Whoa, cold in here. It's like an indoor refrigerator. That is pretty much Valley of the Red Gods. And I couldn't really show you the reason why it's called Valley of the Red Gods, but there's a kind of a lichen that grows on here. It is seasonal, and it's just not the right season for it. I'll show you a small picture of the few that I did manage to find. And yeah, the whole valley is covered with that stuff, and it's when the sun breaks onto it, it's just phenomenal. It's got this deep, almost blood red look to it, a bit like the picture, but imagine this entire valley covered with that. Looks like we're gonna have to make a change of plans here. The mist's rolling in. It's getting sort of late afternoon. The sun only sets at about 7, and we're at about 4 now. But 3 Firs is quite a dangerous route to tackle with full visibility. So yeah, I think I might have to change plans and notify my safety backup just that I am changing plans. I'll probably go down Casteel's Poort or one of those. Random rock, or so you think, as you come around the corner. Look at that. This little pool under a rock overhang. It's just so weird. That's the diving board over there, and the path that carries on over to Corridor Ravine eventually. It goes right across the 12 Apostles. Swing around here, that's one of the houses that was used to build the original dams. So there are a couple of houses on top here, and the dams are around the corner. That's Hilly Hutchinson and Woody. Dropping into Casteel's Poort now. Yeah, so I'm headed down Casteel's Poort, kind of my first escape route the preferable one. It's a major route down. I didn't want to do this, I wanted to do 3 Firs, but yeah, I can't afford to wait another sort of 2-3 hours on top of the mountain for the sunset, specifically on 3 Firs, because yeah, 3 Firs is a dangerous route. So not in bad weather, not in the dark, it's not ideal. I've done it before, but I don't want to risk it, especially on my own. So I'm going to make a beeline out of here, and yeah, rather let us meet on another day and another adventure. Thanks for joining me on this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please join me on the next one. Do all those fancy things, like and subscribe and all of that. It's much appreciated. And yeah, feel free to tell your friends to come and watch and join in, and if you have a chance, maybe share some of your adventures on my Facebook profile, which will also appear at the end of this episode. So yeah, see you in the next one. I made a good call with the mist. You actually can barely make out Caps Bay down below. We're not even halfway down yet. It's definitely closing in.